Hi, Reggie back speaking about healing America's narratives, the feminine, the masculine, and our collective national shadow. We're going to address briefly today the third of the three concerns I introduced several episodes ago that are essential if we're serious about healing anything, but especially America's narratives. The first was development. The second was expanding our problem solving to get away from our narrow view of solving problems, which ends up exacerbating current problems and or creating new ones. And the third is the interrelatedness of all of our crises, what Daniel Schmactenberger refers to as the meta crisis, how virtually everything that is putting life on Earth at risk is interrelated nowadays, because we really do have a global civilization. It's connected by the marketplace. It's connected through governance. It's connected through the desire of human beings to have decent lives. And all of that now, especially post-World War II, is interrelated. So just a couple of examples. I'm going to stay in the United States for now, but much of what I'm saying is true elsewhere as well. So we have probably the most powerful force in our lives is the marketplace. It's not the government, because the marketplace basically lobbies and bribes the government. In an ideal situation, we have a government and the citizens choose the government through voting and can, get rid of people who aren't getting the job done through voting, and write to their Congress people, write to their senators, try to get in touch with the president, that type of thing. That's the ideal of it. But in reality, the marketplace, corporate America, has millions and millions and millions of dollars that they use to fund lobbyists who go in and speak to congressmen and women and senators who have a much greater influence on what the government does than my vote or your vote. So we know that that's true. So basically, when it comes to doing anything, stopping pollution, whether it's air, water, or land pollution, which we spoke briefly about in previous episode, nobody wants a polluted planet. Nobody in government wants a polluted planet. And I'm going to guess most CEOs don't want a polluted planet. But when it comes down to paying their shareholders their quarterly dividends, they'll do everything they can to keep their jobs by making sure the shareholders are happy, even if that means continuing the pollution for longer than they should. There are many examples of that. That's one. One of the results of nuclear weapon development, and again, the United States is the only country to have actually used nuclear weapons on other human beings. But once we saw, and the Soviet Union, at the time it was called the Soviet Union, saw, and China saw the devastation that these weapons could create, what we moved toward was this global economy, this global market, where we began to rely on each other for goods and services and our well-being of our citizens, so that it wouldn't make sense anymore to use nuclear weapons on each other or even go to war against each other. So the major superpowers haven't done that since World War II, gone to war against each other, although they have fought proxy wars. All right? But what that has also done as we globalize the economy is to put us in a situation in which we have communist countries, socialist countries, democratic countries, capitalist countries, all relying on each other and competing with each other for gross domestic product. And if something goes wrong anywhere, it affects everyone, or can affect everyone everywhere. The COVID pandemic was the best example of that, where supply lines shut down. And suddenly we realized how dependent we really were on each other. So whether we're speaking about the need for a military, the billions and billions and trillions of dollars it costs to maintain a military, whether we're speaking about a global versus a national economy, whether we're speaking about the health of human beings in third, second, and first world countries. All of these issues are now interrelated, and it's virtually impossible, or at least it's not wise, to try to address just one of them, even for those folks who think climate change is the one thing that needs to be addressed. You really can't address it without addressing the marketplace, military, and health. So all of these things are interrelated. And again, I'm going to mention Daniel Schmactenberger's name. He's, for me, the most articulate person in showing us the big picture of what's at stake here, how complex it is, and why people with vested interests in certain segments of the market, of governance, of the military, are getting in the way of real resolution because they don't want to lose their turf. And that's not Schmachtenberger's words, those are my words. So the interrelatedness of all the crises that we face, big deal. Right? Not going to go away on its own. And the best and the brightest can articulate the issue, and they're honest enough to admit they don't know how to resolve it yet. So our attention needs to be there. As always, thank you for spending a couple of minutes with me. I look forward to speaking with you the next time.